Alright, welcome everybody. So I've been thinking about this shit for some time, and you motherfuckers have been out here just slandering these people. So let's get into it. So, what we're going to talk about today is how to fix policing in America. So I see a lot of you motherfuckers out here, you guys are rioting, you guys are talking all the cash shit, you gotta defund the police, all this shit. And like I don't get it. I really don't. Like you kind of need these motherfuckers because they protect society. Like a lot of these people are crazy. So like let's just get this first into like I'm gonna explain to you guys how to fix policing. Here's the first problem. First off, before we even get into the discussion, I think people need to understand just how fucking difficult the job of a police officer actually is. Like how damn near impossible it is to police human society. Like it's almost incomprehensibly difficult to even do when you really think about it. Like, because you gotta consider, not all humans are up here obeying the rules and just doing what things they're supposed to do. A lot of these motherfuckers are untamed humans. They're just out here wilding, doing whatever the fuck they want, and people have to deal with that. So I personally don't want to have to handle a motherfucker who doesn't want to like follow the rules. And it's not that many rules to even follow really. It's just like do what you're supposed to do, don't kill nobody, don't rob, don't steal. Just don't do what you want anybody else to do to you. And essentially, you can live that way. There's some people who don't give a fuck to live that way. So, I mean, it's an almost impossible job to do. As you can see from the Wild West and most of human civilization, people just are wild. The other thing too is like we demand a whole lot of shit from the police, and like just like you really consider the job. Like you are out there, you're supposed to take care of everything from the grandma that fell down the stairs and needs somebody to hurry up and help her, to shootouts in the school, to just dealing with like robbery and theft, to just dealing with the local crackheads on the street. Like they are dealing with all lengths of society. And it's unbelievable that the entitlements most people have to expect them to be 100% perfect 99.99999% of the time. And like with that stated, since we all know how difficult the job is, police force is a creation of humans, and all humans are naturally flawed. But the thing about being a flawed human is you team up with organizations to help make the organization less flawed, so more humans are covering each other's asses, so everybody has a better work as a team basically. And what I'm finding out with like police is like any team. Well, no, I'll take that back. The other problem is like becoming a officer is way too fucking easy. Like way too easy. It's almost incomprehensibly easy to become a police officer, as opposed to almost any other job in the public sector. Like teachers need to have more education, I guess, or more qualifications to become a police officer. You can literally sign up to be a police officer today. 8 weeks from now, you'll be in the fucking force doing shit, like actually working, catching a salary. That doesn't make any logical sense, considering that like these niggas are in control of life and death. So we gotta figure out how we are. What's the qualification? Because like almost any easy job that's out there, the easier the job, the more scumbags you're gonna have. Just like if you look at a fast food restaurant, people who work at Home Depot, anybody that works a job that's way too easy to get, there are gonna be some shitty people that just slip into the cracks. And police force is, when you really think about it, it's a bunch of young ass fucking dudes, like 19, 20-year-old dudes that are out there. So like, how smart do you think you're gonna be when you're 19, 20, working as a police officer? Like that's just a crazy amount of responsibility to give a human being that hasn't even like fully developed in the cerebral cortex. So like, I think it's not really racism that's dealing with this police force shit. It's just more incompetency. And I think the police force, to be 100 with you,
Be well,
probably very
everybody.
happy
It's
that
gonna
most of you
end
guys
one day.
think that racism is the cause of why all this shit is going down. It's like, no, these motherfuckers are just incompetent, man. Like, just the numbers games. You're gonna get a couple assholes who are not good at their job. They're underachieving, like the guy that put his neck on, put his knee on George Floyd's neck. I don't think he did that because he's black. I just think that because he was incompetent, didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and that was power tripping. That's more likely the scenario. It could have been a white dude that you probably put his neck on. It would have been the same thing. So, and then the other thing we have to realize too is like, it doesn't make any sense to defund these. So like, if you defund it, you think they're gonna get better? No, just keep the funding where it's at, and then utilize it better. That's the smarter choice. Like, just defund. That's fucking stupid. It's so stupid. So, yeah. And here's another thing too. I thought about like why cops shoot people so quickly. It has something to do with some racist agenda or something like that. I think also just shoot because they're fucking terrified, man. You really consider the idea that like most cops don't actually fight, like they don't know how to fight. So I don't know if anybody else has ever been in a fight or moving around violence when it pops off. Like if you are throwing hands, because that's mostly what most people do. Most people don't know jiu-jitsu. Most people don't know kickboxing. They don't know Muay Thai. They don't know the basics of how to get in, grab somebody, and neutralize the position so nobody gets hurt. So what you got is people just throwing wild hands. I don't know if you ever watching a bar. When people are just throwing wild hands, if somebody gets clipped, they just and they fall down, bro. And that's game over. And just as a cop, if you're out here in the streets fighting with somebody, you got a gun on your hip. I'm just saying myself, I'm not taking no chances out here throwing hands with somebody if I don't know how to fight. It's just not going to happen. So I'm pulling out that taser, I'm pulling out that gun. And it's not the smartest thing, but that's because they're not properly trained. If they had better hands and martial skills, we wouldn't have this problem. But most cops are just kind of lazy, out of shape, and probably shouldn't even be on the force. They just happen to have that job because there's not anything else they can really do. So they're kind of working there. But anyway, here are my, I'm going to wrap this up. Here is how I would fix policing. It's pretty simple. You only need 4 things. First thing is, all police officers need to have at least 3 MMA amateur bouts. And that's because a fight within a cage teaches me that you have courage and you have the courage to do it again and show up when you're scared. And that's what that's what a cop's job primary duty is basically showing up when shit's fucking went south, when shit gets scary. So I need to know that you can step into that fire and understand that your life is on the line and you know how to handle yourself. And the best way to see that is just a martial combat between 2 guys of equal size and weight. And it's an amateur fight, so it's not like they're going to be getting fucked up super bad. Like, it's bigger gloves, shin guards. But it's good to know that your cop can actually put hands. And it keeps everybody in shape, too. Mandatory BJJ training over life. Like, this is part of your career curriculum. You have to do this shit. So, like, the nation will fund it. We get jiu-jitsu practitioners. So then that way we got BJJ schools that are more active in the community. I never met anybody who did BJJ who just happened to be an asshole. So I would love to see that instituted because it will teach cops how to neutralize the situation without throwing blows and how to engage, and just makes you a lot more nicer, empathetic person, and you understand how human bodies work and how to grapple and just how to keep everything neutral when nobody's getting really hurt. I also want to see cops have to go through like MMA referee training. I think mutual combat laws should be introduced within all states. And I think it would be good for cops to be able to referee and be responsible for making sure those fights are basically safe, nobody's getting hurt, and it gets you used to being around violence. Just being around how to judge it, how to know when somebody's getting hurt, when somebody's down. Because all these experiences are just building repetition in the brain to help you identify different patterns of violence. Because that's what cops are dealing with a lot of times. Repetition and patterns of violence. And lastly, mandatory mushroom trips. Because I never met a person who went to a mushroom trip and didn't come back a nicer human being. So as the Faded Apes ideas on the policing and the whole state of this fucking shit that's going down, it's not as bad as we think it is. It's probably not racism. It's probably more so incompetency than racism. So anyway, enjoy your weekend. I'm happy to get this out on a Sunday. Look forward to more content. Bang bang.